Hello, welcome to Win, Lose, or Cry, a Maple Leafs podcast. We got another three games this week. We're recording a little earlier this week. We got some stuff going on, but it's going to be coming up the same day. Let's start with the Kings game. Bit of an ass-kicking, 6-2 win for Toronto.
Nick Ritchie! I know he didn't get a point there, but
He's playing better.
I don't care.
He's playing better.
Nick Ritchie on the power play!
Yeah, I can't say anything bad about him this week. He had a good week. Like, we're going to talk about it through the three games, but man, pretty solid. He's doing what he's been brought here to do.
And you know what? What did I say? Was it week 1 that I said put Nick Ritchie on the power play?
PP2.
And you both laughed at me. And look what happened. He is a door, not a window. That man is a door, not a window.
All they had
put
to
him
do.
In front of the net.
The problem was they kept putting him on the top line when they're like, no. You put him down the lineup, but you put him on the PP. You put him on the power play unit. And
yes, but theoretically, putting him on the first line with Auston Matthews and Mitch Marner is like putting him on the power play.
It just wasn't working, though. He was just too, it wasn't working. Bunting on that top line is beautiful.
Totally right. Right. But
he's found this thing.
Putting him on the power. He has. Put him on the fourth line. He's a lower player, but put him up in front of the net on the power play.
Yeah.
Let people shoot pucks at him.
Yeah.
Dude, you're paid $2.5 million. Take one for the team, dude.
Yeah. And dude, you put him on the fourth line. Oh, he's not going to score on the fourth line, dude. Spezza's got a shot. He's got a cannon on him, and we saw here what James is saying. Ritchie had a perfect screen on Jason Spezza for the power play goal. And that shot, awesome shot, but the guy he couldn't see a thing.
No,
like James said, he's a freaking door. Just beautiful.
Yeah.
Beautiful screen.
It was. And you know what? So I heard something this week, and I don't know if you guys watch the Steve Dangle videos at all, but he made a comment about Nick Ritchie, and he said he doesn't get for the goal that Spezza got, where he was screening the goalie. Yep. He said Nick Ritchie doesn't get a point, but the power play scores as a unit, and that's what matters most.
Yeah.
And that's what happened there, right? Because Ritchie, he didn't tip it, he didn't pass it, but he was definitely a part of the unit getting the goal.
Absolutely.
Right? And that's what the first power play line needs to learn. It's not Auston Matthews gets the goal. It's the power play unit gets the goal. And that's something that I think the first power play line needs to learn.
Yeah. No, I fully agree with you on that one.
Yeah.
But my also thing is though too, and I keep going back to this, you're paying Nick Ritchie $2.5 to stand in front of them on the power play.
To be a door.
Wayne Simmons, who's cheaper, can do the exact same thing.
Okay, you know what? I'm going to say no, he can't. And the reason I'm going to say that is because if he could, he would. If he could do it, they would have him there instead of Ritchie. There's a reason. There's a reason they put Ritchie in front of the net there. How big? I'm gonna pull it up here real quick. How big is Wayne Simmons?
Oh, he's a smaller dude. I think he's 5'9".
I know he's a tough guy.
He's over 6 feet.
Is he? I don't know. Maybe it's because I'm comparing the two of them. I don't know.
I don't know who's good at math here, but he's 1.88 meters high.
Oh God, I hate.
Which I think is 5'11", because I think I'm 1.88 or I'm 1.8.
If you go to this Hockey TV or Prospects, they give you the height in feet.
6'2". So he's 6'2", but he's 185.
Why do I think he's so
versus
small?
Nick Ritchie, who's what, 6'3", 230-ish?
He's a big boy.
I think he's
235.
Why do I think Simmons is so small?
But the other thing was,
he's
Simmons
small.
has better hands.
Yes. Well, this year he has really proved his hands.
Simmons.
Yeah. Well, I'll go into that a little bit further.
Yes.
That's what I'm saying. I would still rather have Simmons in front of the net at a cheaper price point, who's going to have more success with tipping, and he's got better hands down low, than having a door who can't move if the puck goes further than the circles.
You know what though? You need both. You need both.
I fully agree with that.
Simmons had a bad injury last year, which took him out for quite a while, right? Yep. And he's proved this year he's got the hands for it. But you're also looking at 185 versus 235. right? That's what 50-pound difference.
Yeah, you're not moving.
That's a big
board.
like standing in front of the net. Yeah, Simmons, he can tip it, he can stand there, he's tough, but trying to move 50 additional pounds is a big job, right? A 6'2" defenseman standing at 220 can move Wayne Simmons. A 6'2", 220 defenseman can't move Nick Ritchie. And Nick Ritchie,
how strong the defenseman is.
It absolutely does, but I'm saying like moving that additional 50 pounds is a big job.
Yeah.
Right? So
I see your point.
I get what you're saying though about Simmons. Like, and you know what? This Maple Leafs team, they need both players.
Yes.
Yeah.
Right? I know we've been on the fence about Nick Ritchie, and I was sold on him 100% at the beginning of the season. Kind of fell off a little bit, but the way he played this road trip was very well.
It's exactly what we bought him for.
That's what we bought him for. Exactly.
Yeah. The problem is
he played exactly the way we need him to.
Yeah.
And if we can get that from the rest of the season, sold, done. Get 0 points for the rest of the year, but plant yourself in front of that net and screen the goalie. Yeah. That's all we need.
Is that worth $2.5 million though?
Yes, it is.
If we win a cup, it is.
No, not even that, Brandon. If we can capitalize on the power play, it is worth it. Look at how terrible our power play was over the last week.
2 weeks.
Eight power plays. They had 1 goal. When we spoke last week, they did better this week. They had 2 goals in 6?
Yeah, it's better.
And one of those is purely because Nick Ritchie was screening Jonathan Quick. Right? It was a great shot by Spezza. Don't want to take anything away from him, but it was a great screen by Ritchie.
Speaking of the power, the opposite of the power play, penalty kill. The penalty kill's been unreal.
Hold on. My brother texted me this today. Hold on. It was because me and him were talking last night about how defensive the Leafs have been. For the month of where'd it go? The Leafs are 96% on the penalty kill.
Woo, like
96% on the penalty kill. And in the month of November, have only allowed 24 shots on net on the penalty kill for the entire month of November. Tell me that is not a defensive team.
That's a shutdown penalty.
And last night in the Ducks game, the announcers were saying that the Maple Leafs are currently 3rd in the league in defense. This team is a shutdown team. And yet they can still put the puck in the net. They had 6 goals against the Kings, 4 against the Sharks, and 5 against the Ducks. 15 goals in 3 games.
If you told 2019, James, that the Leafs are going to be like a top 3 defensive team in the league, would you just smack them?
Well, imagine, add to that. The Leafs are a top 3 defensive team in the league. We brought in a goalie that's worth $1.5 million, and really haven't changed anything else. I guess adding Kampf and Kasha helped quite a bit there.
Well, Kampf is a good shutdown guy. He's very good.
That's right. And I know you were skeptical on him at the beginning of the year. And Chase, I know you had your opinions about Kasha and his injuries and everything there. And he is injured currently, right? He's out 2 games. But the 19 games he has played, he has been a huge help to this team.
No, and one thing I will say, I will fully admit it, like right now, from what I thought he would be at the beginning of the year to now, Kosh has been way above any of the expectations I had.
Day and night.
The only thing right now, going back to the injury, is I was reading before we started up, he's not being evaluated until they're back in Toronto. So there's still no timeline. So it all depends. If this gets into anything close to what he's had in the past,
it could
this could be part of that. Like we discussed a little bit earlier in the day, is I want to see what's going to happen when turmoil hits the squad. Because right now everything's going like rainbows and sunshines.
Yeah.
What happens when the dominoes start to fall in the opposite way? Do they have enough strength to keep going next man up? Like what we see in Tampa, Colorado, Boston, Philly, a bunch of those teams that have shown it when they're going into those deep stretches.
Yeah, the Leafs haven't had any injury problems yet.
Exactly. Or does it go back to normal? Yeah, exactly.
I mean, the one we had, Mrazek, but like that's not really hurting us too bad.
But boo-hoo, you lose. Not boo-hoo. We need Mrazek. However,
do we?
I mean, Campbell is Campbell is standing on his
I
head.
mean, we mentioned it last week. Wool's looking pretty fucking good.
You know what? I can't say anything to this because if you guys remember the first podcast, I said, that Jack Campbell guy, I don't know about him. I don't know how he's gonna do. Turns out the guy can play goalie.
A little bit.
He can do his job not bad.
I'm pretty sure if you go back to maybe episode 1 or 2, I said that Joseph Wall is probably going to be your guy in the Maple Leafs crease in 3 years.
You also said Montreal was going to be a good team. So, you know what? We all...
On paper, they look a lot better than what they should be.
Yep. Brandon, you're making noises over there? You said the Leafs are going to be maybe a wild card spot.
Let's
back the brakes a little bit.
That take is a little less hot than Montreal being good. Like,
we're in first place in the NHL, Brandon.
Yeah,
first place in the NHL. Like, not the division, not the conference, the NHL. We are in first place. That is what you call a poor take, a cold take.
I didn't say it was a good take. I just said Chase's was worse. As a tip.
No. Because Montreal, if they finish one place higher than they did last year, that is better than what they did the year before.
They finished second in the NHL last year.
No,
technically,
not standings wise. Okay, you know what
I mean. We cover nothing.
Yep.
We're going all in. We're getting rid of our first 7 rounds of picks for everything.
Everything gone.
Yo, you guys want an update on Jack Campbell's stats?
No. Let me guess. He's got a 946 or 940s.
So 18 games played. Just
Yeah.
So you say 9. Sorry, what?
946 this season.
All right, Chase. What do you think?
946, Chase.
Yeah, I feel like that's pretty
accurate. Are you guys both looking at it right now?
No, we looked it up earlier today. We were together earlier today and we were chatting about Jack Campbell.
I'm going to guess he's got a 1.64 goals against average.
No.
And
104 NHL games played to his career. Yeah.
And I'm pretty sure, I think, I'm going out on a limb here. I'm going to say Joseph Wall has got a 1.68 as well.
I'm going to say he's doing pretty good.
Yes.
Nobody likes to show off.
But, okay, you know what, though? On that note, Chase, good way to bring it up. 1.68 for Joseph Wall.
In how many games? How many games was that?
I don't know. 3?
He started 3 games so far.
He's played 3 games so far, right? Buffalo, the other one. I don't remember.
They were wins.
They were wins.
And San Jose Sharks.
Yes. So he's got a 1.68.
Yeah.
Campbell's currently running at a 1.64. My question, which I talked about last week, is that a testament to how good the goaltenders are? Or is it a testament to how defensive the team in front of the goaltender is?
Can't it be both?
In that scenario, I would actually go with it's a good mixture of both, because when I kind of mentioned it too, like when you look at it, is the Leafs, even though that they've had a pretty strong-handed wins in this week, and we'll touch more when we go kind of through the rest of the games. Yeah. But in the third periods, they're being outshot. So what's happening is they're collapsing, and they're taking away the big opportunities. But one of the highlights of the San Jose game with Joseph Wall was there's a big scrum. He makes a blocker save, but the rebound, unfortunately, just hits in the wrong angle, and it shoots out to Logan Couture. So he's got a wide open net, and that guy very rarely misses those. Wall comes flying across and gets the pad on it. He shows that he has the ability to be positional, but he has the athleticism to go east, west, or north, south, whichever way he's got to push. So, and Campbell, we've seen it game in, game out. If it's earlier in the year, he was the main reason the games were staying close while they were struggling to find their mojo. And now, whenever, again, the third period starts to morph into a shooting gallery for the opposing team, Campbell is staying strong in those moments where he's got to be. Yeah. So I think it's a good mixture of both, in the sense where the defense is playing extremely well. They're keeping the shots to the perimeter, and it's the NHL, so even perimeter shots can beat a goalie if he's ready for it. But they're still playing solid positionally. But both of them are able to get that athletic ability to jump from post to post if they have to make that desperation save. So right now, I think it's just the perfect beast of good defense and great goaltending.
And I'm going to add to that a little bit by saying, yes, they are out shooting them in the third period, but I don't have a stat in front of me. I don't know off the top of my head. But it would be interesting to go back and look at these last 3 games, because I believe all 3, Kings, Sharks, and Ducks, they were outshot in the third period. Yep. It would be interesting to see how many of those shots were rebounds. Meaning, one shot came in, and the next one was a rebound. Like, so out of the shots they got in the third period, how many of them were rebounds? Right, because like you said, the Leafs have been good defensively by pushing the play to the outside, letting them shoot, but how many of them, because realistically, if you're able to keep the guy to the outside, you're able to play him positionally, and like we said, Joseph Wool's good positionally, Campbell's doing a pretty good job of it too. If the goalie's able to play positionally well with an outside shot, they should be able to save it. They might let up a rebound, but they should be able to save the initial shot. What would be interesting to see is how many of those shots from the outside allow a rebound that the opposing team can shoot on as well.
Yeah.
I don't think it's many, because looking at the goals against, I mean, they had 2 against the Kings, 1 against Sharks, 1 against Ducks. That's telling me that a lot of those shots that are coming in are dying with the shot. Right? Shot comes in, and it either gets, the goalie holds it and gets the whistle, or the rebound's going out, and the Leafs are winning that rebound and getting the puck out of the zone.
Well, the other thing that would be kind of cool to see, too, is the CBC shows it all the time in between periods when a goalie's hot, is the home plate effect. So there's the home plate that they draw in the slot towards the point and around the crease to see where the majority of the shots coming. Are they coming from outside that home plate? Are they coming just inside? Because that's going to be another testament to either defensive setup or positioning as well for the goalie, because that allows you to fully see where the holes are and what's going to be happening.
I would bet money they're coming from outside home plate. And Brandon, correct me if I'm wrong, if you agree with this or not. Do you remember the season where James Reimer, I believe it was Reimer, was handling like 40 to 50 shots on net per game?
Yeah.
Do you remember that?
Yeah.
Yet, like, out of the 40 shots, 38 of them were from like the boards perimeter. Or the point.
Yeah.
Like, they were all from, and that's what this team's kind of reminding me of, except A, they're winning, B, they're scoring, and C, I mean, they've got Campbell in net. So, but it kind of reminds me of that. It's like, yes, the other opposing teams are getting lots of shots, but they're not good shooting opportunities.
Yeah, that's exactly
they're not goal scoring opportunities.
And Keefe was trying to hammer that home last year. He's like, we need to push them out to the perimeter. Yeah, and because before that, like you said, it was roughly the same, maybe even less shots, because we were playing better defensively then, since we got TJ Brody and we got Muzz and everybody. But
I would say we're playing better defensively this year.
No, I totally agree. I'm just saying, 2 years ago when we got the guys, we were playing better defensively than we were. But those shots were still, like, we were lower in shots, because like you said, when we had Anderson and stuff, we were still, some games it was always like 40 plus shots. And all those shots were coming not just the perimeter, but they were clean shots from the middle. But now that like Keefe has like focused in on pushing them out to the perimeter, those shots have gone down because our defense is better. And now that they're from the perimeter, those shots are much less dangerous. And we see that on the score sheet. Right?
Yeah. Exactly. Yeah. Right. Seven goals in 7 games.
7 goals in 7 games.
That isn't a fluke.
No. That
is not a fluke. That is a testament to good defense.
Absolutely.
And solid goaltending.
And solid.
Right? Like, I'm not going to straight up say, oh, the team's defense is what's winning them the games. No, goaltending is a major part of it as well.
You know what?
But I don't think the goaltending is that good without the team in front of them.
You know what?
So it's a team sport.
Right now, offense solid, defense solid, goaltending solid. We are
Stanley Cup
banging right now. Since we're talking goaltending, and I know we've already brought him up a bit, I just want to move on to the next game in case you guys have some more to talk about. The Sharks game, a 4-1 win. What do you guys think? Like, I again, Wool played great. The save chase you were talking about when Wool flew across the pipes to make that save. Holy crap! I knew he was good positionally, and then that save was like, okay, I can trust you, man. Like you're not just AHL call up guy. Like you got some skills. Like you're not I wouldn't put you in the starting position, but I feel safe with you in the net. Like
no, yeah, because Wall. What a lot of people don't realize is he has a World Junior Gold Medal. Yeah. He's got a winning pedigree. He's been through some tough tournaments, and unfortunately, like when you're a young goalie and you're coming up through like a market like Toronto, Montreal, sometimes New York, sometimes Boston, it's intimidating. So that first game, even though you're going against Buffalo, the nerves are going to be there. It's going to be a tough game, but the more ice time he's getting, I'm seeing a lot more of a calming effect in his game. His feet aren't moving near as quick. He's actually planning himself. He's waiting for the shot to come in. And unlike some or most butterfly goalies that come up, he's not too quick to drop in the butterfly. He actually waits that split second that a lot of goalie coaches in the past have tried to get goalies to do. And it works. There's a couple times in the Islanders game, he didn't even have to drop for the shot, and he just punched it into the corner with the blocker. But there was another save he made on Burns. He had to come flying across now to the blockers or to his blocker side and get him that way, or Burns had a wide open net. So he's showing that he's got that athleticism. But the one thing I like about him is he's not getting flustered in the net. Mm-hmm. And it's very easy to do being that young and being called up into a market like Toronto. The only thing that I have in that game, other than how impressed I was with the offense, was the tap pass that Tavares had across the blue line to Nylander.
Yeah, it's nice.
A lot of players can try that, and they'll get too much of it and send it backwards, or they'll stop it. He had just the right amount of English to keep it going through. And Nylander, of course, when you give him that much time and space, the goalie's going to be out to lunch. Like, good luck. But the other thing that I had on note was one thing I was not impressed about with Nick Ritchie, and he did the same thing again in the game against Anaheim, is the puck is underneath Reimer's pad. Whistle goes. He comes in and pitchforks him to try to get it loose. I don't care who you are, if you're playing for Colorado, if you're playing against me in men's league, if you're playing against a buddy of mine in men's league, if you're going to pitchfork goalie after the whistle, that's uncalled for. So get ready, because if he starts doing that more, the goalies are going to start swinging, and it's not going to be good for him.
Well, like after that, the whole line jumped him.
Yeah, but the problem was it wasn't the right guys on the ice to go after it.
It was really funny watching him take on 5 guys and still be standing. He was just towering over everybody.
6'3", 235.
Yeah.
Like, in my notes, I have Richie fights off entire Sharks team.
Yeah, and like that's what you're paying for. You're paying him for that size, right? That's what he's. No, I'm not saying he's meant to fight the whole team. I'm not saying he's meant to run the goalie, but you pay him to be that big player, that big presence on the ice.
Yeah. In the words of my brother, if you try to go up against him and you're not just at least as strong as he is, it's a negative career decision.
Yes. Like, really, there's only a handful of players that should really go up against him. Yeah. Like, realistically, there is.
Yeah, I fully agree.
Like, how many players are 235 now in the NHL?
Not many.
Like, I wouldn't even say Chara should go up against.
No. Well, I mean, that's
I think Char still takes him because he's got the reach.
Because he's got the reach, yeah. But, like, what's the guy's name on, is it New York? Reeves?
Reeves would dummy him, too.
Yeah. That's what, he's the kind of player that should go after Richie.
Yeah, there's not many of them.
No, there's nobody on the Sharks, I don't think, that should be doing it.
No.
The closest would be the defenseman Middleton, just because he's about 6'4", 6'5", but he's, I think, like 210, 215.
Yeah.
Do you think
Richie's got a little bit more of a ground and pound to him?
Do you think if he was angry, do you think Tkachuk would go after him?
Which one?
Yeah, good question.
Matthew or Brady?
Either. Which one am I thinking? Oh my god, which one's the one? Which one's the one?
Brady's on Ottawa.
What? I think
Brady's in Ottawa. Matthews in Calgary.
I'm thinking Matt Tkachuk then.
He wouldn't. He'd turtle.
You think so, Brady.
I think he'd go in trying to draw the penalty and then turtle.
Who's the guy who just got bit?
That's Brady.
That was Brady. I'm thinking Brady then.
Brady might try it,
like
but
if you because
he would
he's
lose.
like a he'll go after he'll go after you if he wants to. Like he's
which is fun until you lose.
I know. I'm just saying if he was heated, I think maybe he would try. Maybe he'd get a couple hits in. But
yeah, he might try.
He might fail.
Well, that's part of the problem, right? Is he may fail badly, but like Richie's not much of a fighter, is he?
No, he's not.
Not that I know.
I think he's
a big presence,
forward, tough guy kind of thing. Like he's like if he's got to drop him, he will.
Yeah,
but he'd rather like a game against the Islanders. I forget what defenseman it was. He rocked him earlier in the game, and then in the third period, it was both them going for the puck in the corner. The defenseman let up to try to do a stick lift. Well, you're not lifting like Richie's stick when you're half his size. Like
no, you can't out-muscle him.
No, so his physicality right there is able to open up the room. So that's what he really does.
Yeah.
But if you were gonna, if he's got to throw down, he's a big boy. He can do it.
Yeah. And I just want to touch on one thing about that Sharks game. So I know we're talking about Richie, and we talked about Simmons just a minute ago. The goal, I think it was Simmons that actually got the goal, the tip in that he got.
He did.
I don't think I don't know if he tipped it in or not, or if he was just in front of the net for it. But he does not get enough credit that I've heard for that goal. Like the puck, I don't know who someone dumped it over the blue line, and like Richie batted it down at like chest height out of the air. The puck dropped down, went to Richie. Richie passed to someone. I don't know who that someone was, and then shot on net. And I think Simmons tipped it in. I don't know for sure, but it like if you can go back and watch it at some point.
Simmons has a goal that game. I'm pretty sure you're right.
The Sharks game.
Yeah.
Okay, so it would have been the deflection that he got. I don't know which goal it was. It may. Yeah, I'm not sure which goal it was, but it was the one. It may have been the second or third goal of the game. But yeah, the puck was kind of coming over the blue line, and he just bats it down out of midair. Like it wasn't like the puck was coming at him and he tipped it. It was going across him, and he just bats it out of the air, and Richie picks it up, and they end up going down and scoring.
Richie Kampf took the shot on net and was tipped in by Simmons.
And tipped him. Thank
I remember now the goal that you're talking about.
That whole play doesn't get enough recognition.
No.
You're talking about a road trip where we scored 15 goals. That one I think deserves a little more recognition. The fact that bats out of the air, Richie over to Comp, and like Richie to Comp, whatever. Comp shooting whatever, Simmons tipping in whatever. The fact that Simmons just bats this puck out of the air on like a dump in. Like it wasn't meant for Simmons. It was just dumped in, bats it out, and they turned it into a goal. So
Simmons has got hands, man. Like he just needed to warm up, I guess.
Okay, but correct me if I'm wrong. I don't remember this from last year.
Ooh.
like that. This is something new.
He broke his wrist properly.
It kind of reminds me of Ty Domi's last year as a league. I think it was Ty Domi.
You're thinking maybe JVR because he was like the tip-in king.
No, not Tippins. But it could be Tucker, it could be Domi. It was one. I think it was Domi though. Domi was known for his physicality, right? He was tough. You didn't want to go in the corners with him. You didn't want to fight him. He was the tough guy. And in his last season, he became this assist/point machine. I'm pretty sure. Let me look it up. I'll come back around to it and double check. But I'm pretty sure it was titled. Yeah, like he was a guy known for his physicality, and then out of nowhere, like one summer, he's like, this year, I'm gonna get some points. He's like, I'm gonna go out with a bang. And I don't remember for sure, but I'm pretty sure it was Ty Domi who did it.
The other thing though too is Domi actually had some decent skill, but it was always hidden by how good he could fight.
The guy could fight.
He could throw down.
Yeah, the guy could throw some fists.
His son clearly got all the offensive talent. Yeah. He got all the fighting.
Yeah.
So when I said,
were you wrong?
Maybe it was. I'm looking at his last season, 77 games played, 16 points.
Ooh.
Maybe
I don't think it was him.
Maybe it was Darcy Tucker. Maybe it was like what? You know what it could have been? What? I was a kid, right? It was 2005. Maybe he had one game where he had like 4 or 5 goals, and I was like, yeah, he can do more than just fight.
He's my favorite player.
Little do I know, like, I watched one game that year, and that happened to be the game where he puts up 4 assists and a goal. Like,
yeah.
So, yeah, you know what? I could be just thinking back on one game type thing. Because, again, I was, 11 at the time? 12-ish? So, who actually knows? But, let me check Tucker. Just
you do that, if you don't mind.
Just in case.
While you do that, I'm going to move on to the Ducks. No.
It wasn't Tucker either. 71 games played, 24 points. Hey, the season before, though, he only had 16, so he pumped those numbers by 8.
Yeah, man, pump those numbers up.
You sure you're not thinking like a Sergei Berezin or...
Maybe I was playing NHL 05 or whatever.
Yeah.
And you went off with Domi.
Yeah.
Oh, that's totally what it was.
I'm living in the old days.
Trade calls for Domi, and they're offering you a first-round pick. He's got 94 assists.
Yeah, maybe that's what it was. Oh, boy. All right, you continue, Brandon.
Okay. I'm going to move on to the last game. The Ducks at least beat them 5-1. Another just ass-kicking, essentially. Matthews had another...
No.
Really?
Gonna stop you there. I was not super happy with this game. Yes. No, they didn't beat on the Ducks, in my opinion. If you look at the final score, correct. It was a 5-1 game. They lost in shots. They lost in face-offs. It was the only game of the road trip they did not produce on the power play.
It was only one power play, to be fair.
Yeah. Which is fair. But the first, if you go back and rewatch that game, the Ducks in the first period had many scoring, like not just scoring, like good scoring opportunities. Campbell kept them in that game by not allowing a goal in the first period. Because at the 12-minute mark, in the second is when Toronto scores their first goal, and that's when the team turns on. That's when the team goes from a 0-0 game to a 3-0 game. It was I would not say at all Toronto walked through them or kicked their ass or anything. That was very much a Ducks dominated the first. Toronto, which scares me, woke up in the second.
So they
played a good, which that's why I say, looking at the score, yes, we beat on them pretty badly.
To be fair, I had my parents over for the first period, so I was watching the game, and then I watched the second and third by myself. Yeah. And so maybe that's why I got the feeling.
Yeah.
Right?
Second and third period, yes, Toronto carried that game. No doubt in my mind. I mean, the third period, Ducks did pretty well. They had that one goal, which was right in front. But the first period, the Ducks showed the Leafs the 50 states. Yeah. Except...
I wouldn't say that. It seems more
Brandon, go back and watch the first period.
When you say they showed them the 50 states, I expect, absolute Toronto AHL team.
If Jack Campbell was not in net...
That bad, eh?
That game could have been 4-0 in the first period.
Maybe I have
Jack Campbell is the reason that game was 0-0 through the first period. I don't know, Chase. I know you were texting me it, so I don't know how much of the first you caught, but honestly, Jack Campbell stood on his head there quite a bit. And then, like I said, the Leafs turned it on in the second. They got that goal, and then it was lights out from that point on. They really picked up their game in the second and third. And I mean, they had the open netter, which helped secure the win, which I loved. But
that was good.
It was good. It was good.
You are right. You're right to worry about the whole starting late. But I'm gonna say I was on that all the beginning of this year, saying they're not starting on time. They've been pretty good at starting on time for the last couple weeks.
They've been perfect.
Yeah.
They've been perfect.
So you know what?
That's what worries me, though.
You're thinking they're going to go back.
Well, the Ducks, what game in a row? What win was that in a row? Was that 5 or 6? I would have to go see what's their win streak at right now.
I got it. 1 second.
I don't have it in front of me. It's got to be at least 5 or 6, right?
Not that
4.
Well, I know
that was only
the
4.
Big picture.
That was that 4?
That was their 4th in a row.
Yeah, because big picture, what are they? 12-2 in their last 14.
Something like that.
I think that's the stat.
Yeah, I don't know exactly. It's a good stat to have.
Oh, it's wild.
And the Leafs didn't play. I wouldn't say they played poorly in the first period. They still had 10 shots on net, but the Ducks had them in. The Ducks knew what they were doing, and they came to play in that first period.
Leafs are 9-1 in their last 10.
9-1. Okay.
9-1-0.
Yeah, so I think Chase. I think you're right. They're like 2-14 or something like that, or 2-12.
I think it's 12. I think it's 12.
Yeah, it's something like that.
Something absurd, and which any team would want to have.
Yeah. Oh, hands down, right? And I mean, yeah, Ducks got that one goal. It was kind of a weak goal. He was right in front of the net and just slid under his pad. It was good, but the Leafs played. They played a good second and third period, and Campbell played a good game throughout, in my opinion.
Yeah.
The only thing there's not much I have to say about that.
Nylander had like the most lackadaisical empty net ever. Like it just like, and we talked about this. I know we talked before it. They rushed down, and there was a lot of hard work, but it's just like they just straight out beat out the rest.
Well, would you open up an absolute slap shot from that? Like,
it was just
run bar down or nothing.
It was just they beat them, and they're just like, okay, cool.
Yeah,
it was like so casual. I loved it.
That period though started off with Nylander getting the puck to Kerfoot, and Kerfoot scored in like the first 15 seconds,
something like that.
It was like first immediately.
Seconds.
Was it 13? Yeah, it was right off the bat. I know that.
Yeah.
So, right, and Nylander fed Kerfoot the pass. At the end of the game there, or I guess 3 minutes left or so, Nylander fed Kerfoot the pass again, and Kerfoot, it was as if he was returning a favor. As if it was like, you know what? This one's on you, buddy.
Didn't Nylander block the shot from the point that started the breakout?
I couldn't tell you.
I don't know. No, I doubt it, because Nylander's the one who passed it to Kerfoot.
Yeah, no, but I thought that from, again, like I could have seen it wrong, but it looked like Nylander blocked it, then he got it, so when he was trying to skate out, he gave it to Kerfoot to get by the defenseman. So to me, it looked like the reason why Kerfoot gave it back was you did all the work on that one.
And that's kind of what that's kind of how I saw it too. Is like, you know what, buddy? This one, like, you deserve this.
Yes.
Right? Like, here you go. It's good teamwork, right? Yep. Nylander assisted the Kerfoot's goal. Kerfoot assisted Nylander's. Right? They're both up on the scoreboard there. It was good. Who got the first goal for the Ducks?
The only goal for the Ducks?
What?
The only goal?
Sorry. The first goal against Ducks. Was it the TJ Brody one?
Yeah, the shot from Brody from the point, Matthews tip.
I loved that goal. And I'm going to explain why here in a second.
I wonder if it's the same reason why I like it.
Well, does his name rhyme with Michael Bunting?
Oh, I love him.
No. Because so Michael Bunting came down, and this is what... I fucking
love Michael Bunting.
This is what we need Marner to learn. And I love this entire situation, this whole play during this game. Bunting came down with Matthews and shot the puck. He shot the puck. He didn't pass to Matthews. He didn't find Matthews. He shot the puck. Gibson saved it. The puck went into the corner. But guess who went into the corner?
Matthews. No, not Matthews. Marner.
I know, right?
And what did I say at the beginning of the year? I'm glad they don't have Hyman, because it means your top players will have to do something in the corner.
Also,
that was my big thing about Hyman. We don't have Hyman, so guess who has to go in? Whoever's there. And it happened to be Marner.
Also,
Marner went in. Oh, beautiful.
Don't know how.
But he was able to get it out. Bunting got it to the point. TJ Brody shot it. Matthews tipped it in. But what I love more than anything, nobody looked for Matthews for the shot. Every player on the Ducks knew Matthews, looked for Matthews, Matthews would put this puck in the net. Nobody looked for Matthews not to shoot it. And that's how they were able to capitalize on it, right? When they came down to 2-on-1, no one covered Bunting for the shot. Because why would he shoot it? He's got Matthews right there.
Yeah.
Right? And that's what we talked about last week with Marner. Marner would be way more dangerous if he had shot the puck more rather than just giving it straight to Matthews. And that's what I liked about Bunting. He didn't just give it over to Matthews. He took that shot. Gibson saved it, but he took the shot. Which means next time the puck comes down and Gibson's in net, he can't cheat the pass because he knows Bunting can shoot the puck.
Right? Are either of you noticing Matthews is not sniping as much? Like, he's getting his dirty goals and he's playing well, but like I think his wrist is still bothering him. He's not shooting. His shot percentage is way down, and he's not. My dad actually noticed it when I was watching a game with him the other day, one of the earlier ones, and he's like, "Look at where Matthews is shooting from now, and look how he's like fanning on the puck, and he's not like." He pointed out a shot, and he's like, Matthews would have scored that 9 out of 10 times last year, and I'm watching him now, like, he's not doing his normal like toe drag wrist shot in. Like, normally, like, I'm expecting him to have way more goals, and he's not doing the same shots he was last year. I think his wrist is still bothering him. He's getting more dirty goals this year, which I was kind of asking for last year, and his play all around's been good, but he's not doing his snipes anymore. I think his wrist is still bothering him.
So I think, Jason, I'll let you go in a second here. If you have any. I think maybe. And the reason I say maybe is because look at the power play goal he got on the Predators. His wrist was not bothering him on that shot.
No, but like it's much less. Like I said, his shooting percentage is way down.
It is, but I would have to go back and rewatch games from last year and this year and see if he's getting the same kind of opportunities as he was.
Just keep it in mind the next week when you're watching.
I will.
You always see him do 2 or 3 of his patented, pull back and shoots, and I'm not seeing him do them anymore.
No,
he's not shooting as much, and I think it's because his wrist. He's going in for the greasy goals much more now, which I was always asking for him to do. But
yeah,
that's his only side of his game right now. And maybe it's just me. Maybe, like you said, he's just not getting the great looks. But I'm like, I don't see him shooting the puck much anymore. And I'm a little worried. Like, it's not like he's not producing, but I'm definitely noticing it. I don't know about you, but
I honestly don't think it's his wrist. Because if his wrist was bothering him, he would not be going to the front of the net. He wouldn't be going down low. Because what's going to happen when you go down those spots? You're getting slashed, you're getting hit, you're getting bumped. So if your wrist is sore, you're going to sit outside and you're going to play a bit of I don't want to say a softer game, but you're going to play more of a finesse kind of game because you're going to want to avoid that pressure, that contact on the injury. I think what it is people are starting to kind of figure out that, okay, the play is going to funnel that way. Matthews has got, it's kind of like the Ovechkin factor, is 5-on-5. Now you're seeing Ovi slide down into the slot to do one-timers. You're seeing him skate through the middle. You're seeing him put on up towards the point. He's just got to move around and find more of a spot. It's just because he's younger, and there's still a lot of pressure, so I think he's gripping the stick too tight. He's just got to relax. Same thing what happened with Marner at the beginning of the year. He's putting a little too much pressure on himself, so he's just got to relax, get back to playing his style of hockey, and mix in the greasy goals. Like, any player worth their salt knows that if you're struggling from your normal shooting spot or you're struggling from your normal game plan, start heading to the net, get a couple of greasy ones, get the confidence up, then you get back into the rhythm. So once you start to shoot, the confidence is there. You have a little bit more of a better look. But I think it's just going to be more, he's just got to be a little bit more relaxed and play his style, because it's just going to be, if that wrist was sore, he would not be going to the front of the net. He would not be trying to go down low for the tap-ins or the bang-in goals, because you're going to get slashed, you're going to get whacked. You want to stay away from that.
I get what you're coming from, and I'll let you go in a second, James. I get where you're coming from there. It's just, if he was shooting, and it wasn't going in, and then he was doing that, that'd be one thing. But his shot percentage is the lowest it's been since he started in the NHL.
Are you saying like the shot percentage that's hit the net?
From his stats from NHL.com, his shooting percentage is the lowest it's been since he started in the NHL.
But how many shots has he taken compared to last year? That's the other number you got to look at. Because the other thing is too is if his shot percentage is lower, he might be shooting, but he's just missing the net because he's trying to make that perfect under the bar shot.
It would be shots on net. They would take it as shots on net.
So his normal shots in general, the amount of shots he's taking, they could be getting blocked. He could be going wide. Mm-hmm. So like that's the whole thing. Like,
no, they wouldn't count as a shot though.
No,
if it doesn't.
No, if you take a shot and you miss, your shot's percentage is that. So if you take 300 shots, that's what it is. No,
it's if you get 10 shots on net and one of them goes in, you're at a 10% shot. Something like that. That's what it would be, right?
That would make no sense because Draisaitl then it wouldn't be at a 30% shooting percentage. McDavid wouldn't be at an 18.
Yeah, they would.
No, they wouldn't.
What would they be at? They've taken how many shots on net?
They'd be lower.
That's how it works. If you shoot and the shot
hit goalie.
If you shoot and the shot gets blocked, it doesn't count as a shot. It's a shot attempt, but it's not a shot.
I have the rule.
Okay, go.
Shooting percentage in the NHL. A statistic that measures the rate in which a player or team's shots on goal result in goals for the player or team. Shooting percentage is calculated by taking the total number of goals and dividing it by the number of shots on goal.
Interesting.
Yeah,
I always thought it was the amount of shot attempts than what hits the net.
Number of shots
or as else, like you look at stats at the end of the game, and a team would have 87 shots, and the goalie only has 40 saves. Right?
True. Yeah.
So it's if the goalie gets a save, it counts as a shot on net. Or if it's a goal, it's a shot on net.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's just oversight on my part.
So I think like, even if Matthews shoots the post, I don't think it counts as a shot on net.
I think it has to hit the goalie for it to be
just like how a post is not a save for a goalie.
It's not a shot.
I don't think it's a shot on net. I could be wrong on that, but I don't think it's a shot on net. That one I'm a little iffy about. But I'm not sure. But so here's my opinion on this, Brandon.
No, it's not counted.
Shots
that hit the goalpost or crossbar do not count as shots.
Okay, there we go. I actually disagree. Yeah, thank you, Chase. It's stupid. It is stupid.
It is pretty stupid.
The puck can hit the post and go in, and that counts. But if it hits the post and goes out, no dice, bro.
And that should count as a save for a goalie because a good goalie is a lucky goalie.
And he played the position well. He closed off the chances, and they hit the post instead of putting it in. Yes, 1,000%. A post and out is a save for a goalie, and a post and in is a shot on net, and a post and out is a shot on net.
James,
change the rule book.
Yeah, I think we're writing our proposal this week, and we're sending in the bet, and we got to get this changed ASAP.
Yeah, he's going to listen to us. Yeah.
Well, we'll make him listen.
Well, why keep...
Slide a fiver in there?
A 5? Like, it better be like a 1 and 2 zeros after that.
5 and a pretty please?
Yeah. Like,
Well,
Tim Beam?
It's a check. It's a 5.
I tried.
It's a 5 decimal 2 zeros. It's $5. You said 1 or 2 zeros.
There you go.
Well, what I was getting with this percentage, and like when I was talking about it, it's the lowest, and it's lowest by quite a bit in his whole career. And
sorry, keep going.
So I'm just gonna go over the I'll just use the last 3 years.
Okay, hold on. Sorry.
Go ahead.
Okay, before you do that though, I want you to keep in mind of 2 or 3 things here. Mm-hmm. What I want to bring up, I want to just throw them out in the world for right now.
Yep.
1, you said that his shooting isn't as good this year, still hurting. To that counter, he played through an injured wrist last year.
Yes.
Right? So that might dismiss the idea of an injured wrist. Secondly, I want to put out there, looking at the last 2 years versus this year, the Maple Leafs are a different team.
Fair.
Meaning Sheldon Keefe has them playing differently last year versus this year. Because if you look at the team, the lineup, we have Kasha, Kampf, Richie. I'm forgetting one, aren't I? Who else is new to the team? Bunting, thank you. Oh my goodness. Right? So we have new players to the team, but none that would really affect Matthews' shooting. But what could affect his shooting is the way the game is being played by the organization, which is coming from Keith. Maybe, like I was saying in our first episode, this is the year where things are changing and they're coming out and they're playing a different game. They're playing a playoff game, which means you can't. Don't just give the puck to Matthews and don't just let him bury. It's what's going on with Edmonton right now. You get two guys doing 90% of the work. Yeah. We can't rely on Matthews to put in 70% of our goals.
I totally agree.
Right?
Last year was a shortened season.
Yes.
And then you got to look at where you can't really compare 20 games into 56 games or 78. Like you got to look at if you want to compare the first 20 games last year to the first 20 games this year.
Yeah, but
so
this is
those are the stats you need.
This is an average though, so it's just if it was like 0.5%, I'm like whatever, but it is a sizable amount because if you look here, 2018, 2019, 14.74%. Okay, 2019, 2020, 16.2%. 2020, 2021. 18.5%. This year, 11%. 11.8. That's quite a step lower, and that is quite under the average of a typical goal scorer. Not even a superstar. That like you kind of want to be at least like 13, 14%. Like 11.8 is quite low. And and for his entirety, that is the lowest he's ever been. The other than this one, the lowest he was ever was the 14.74. So that's a whole 3 percentage points lower than his previous least one. But sorry, go ahead, James.
No, you're totally correct on that. He is shooting much lower. But back to my argument about the team producing rather than him producing. So last year, right, he played 52 games. He had 4. I just pulled up last year's stats here, quick. Last year, 52 games, 41 goals. The second highest goal scorer was Mitch Marner with 20 goals. Half. Below that, Tavares at 19, Nylander at 17, and down from there, right? This year, looking at it, right? Matthews at 10 goals. Tavares at 10 goals. Nylander at 9 goals. We now have 3 guys all pretty much together in that top, right? So, and I may be wrong by saying this, but it could be coaching. Directing the team in a more spread out offense, right? Rather than you get the goals and we'll powder 1 or 2 in per game. It's like, no, maybe you dial back a little bit, help, because everyone knows if Auston Matthews cover him. Yeah. Right? It makes the whole team more offensive if the defense shift to one guy. Look what happened. Was it Ovechkin that used to get double teamed every time he stepped inside the offensive zone? Yeah. And for a season or two, his goals dipped.
I mean,
because Ovechkin. For Ovechkin, but he would step inside the offensive zone, and there was no matter what I'm pretty sure it was Ovechkin. There was 2 all times because he was a dominant goal scorer, and I'm sure I could pull up his stats, and his shooting percentage went down. Actually, I'm going to pull
pull him up. It's
because it would just be interesting to see.
You're probably right, James. It's just I have been saying it for the last couple of weeks that like he's been playing good, but I've noticed he's been shooting less and he's been fanning on the puck more. And seeing that stat, I was just like, okay, maybe this is a thing, because the eye test is telling me the same thing that the stats are telling me. And you might be completely right. You might just be like, this is how they're playing now. It's a bit more spread out game, but seeing his shooting percentage hitting a career low, and by my eyes, he's not shooting as much as he used to from his patented Matthews bring it in and shoot. He's getting more of the dirty goals, and he's not really shooting as much. And when he does, he kind of fans and misses. So I don't know. To me, it seems like maybe. To me, I'm worried that maybe his wrist is not 100%. Whether it be injured or not, maybe it just doesn't feel right to him. But that's completely opinionated.
Yeah.
But just based on his stats and my eye test together, I'm kind of thinking, is there something to it?
So I pulled up Ovechkin's stats quick here.
You looking at the shooting percentages as well?
That's exactly what I'm looking at. His highest career NHL shooting percentage, 15.4%. Yeah. Except this year, where he's at 20.
Yeah.
But other than that, right? Chase, I'm not misreading that. Nope, I lied. 15.57. 15.57. His third season is 15.57. Then he drew 14.57. I'm all over the board. But like, he had a season where he was shooting 8.7%.
Yeah.
Right?
His career shooting percentage is 12.9.
Yeah. Now, he also takes a ridiculous amount of shots.
Yes.
But he scores goals. Mm-hmm. And that may be what Sheldon Keefe is doing, right? Because now, the beginning of the season, we had Nick Ritchie on that line. Big guy playing in front of the net. Now you got Bunting playing there. Not big, but he's a solid guy in front of the net. So maybe Sheldon Keefe is like, put more pucks on the net, more goals will go in. Mm-hmm. I'm pretty sure you were the one who quoted it earlier in this year. You miss 100% of the shots you don't take.
Absolutely.
Right? Mm-hmm. The more pucks you put on net, the better chance you have of scoring.
You're probably right. I'm just... Keep in mind when you're watching the next couple games, just kind of watch him. Like I
will. Yeah. I'll watch him Wednesday, which I want to talk about in a second.
Ooh.
I've been waiting to talk about it.
Well, before we move on to some new stuff.
Yeah.
We missed it last week. Kind of sad, but win, lose, or cry, guys.
I don't know. 3 wins in a row.
I know, man. It's hard.
I think I'm gonna hit this one with a win.
Oh, that's kind of controversial, but okay.
You know what? I was thinking lose because the first period of the Ducks game, but I think the 5-1 helped me get over it. So
I was
gonna hit it with the.
I was thinking cry because when Wool made that massive highlight save, I cried a little bit, teared up.
So I'm gonna hit with a win. I'll double up on that one.
Chase, I'm assuming you're okay with a win there.
Yeah, and just one last quick thing just on the Matthews thing. I just ran the numbers quick. He's at 85 shots in 20 games. So if he was to play a full 82 game season, he'd be on pace for his highest amount of shots taken in a season.
Yeah.
So his wrist is not an issue.
Like I said about.
And yes,
right?
This past week, definitely a win for the Leafs. Even though I don't want to say that.
I know. Now, what happens hypothetically if the next week coming up, the Leafs win all the games?
Which they won't.
Are you still going to say it's a win for the Leafs?
If they can win.
I don't know how many games they have. I haven't looked yet. Is there 3 games? I haven't looked yet.
Hang on, let me pull it up here quick.
Hypothetically, let's say there's 3 games.
You say
if they win all 3.
Go ahead.
Brandon, do you know who they play on Wednesday?
They are playing the Avs on Wednesday.
Yeah, that's why I'm drilling him about this. They're playing. Look at that Landeskog jersey sitting there in the background.
There's also a Duchesne and a McKinnon up there, just so you guys know.
I'll bring you over my Matthews on Wednesday.
Should we? If the Avs.
I can't.
So there is 3 games. So you guys are on a Western swing. So you have Colorado.
At home. Yeah. At home, though.
That's an easy win.
So Colorado at home.
Yep.
Then on the road Saturday against Minnesota.
Yep.
And then in Winnipeg on Sunday.
Wolves playing.
Of course, it's a back-to-back.
Wool.
Hey, it's. I'm pretty sure I have my notes here. It's our second last back-to-back of this part of the season, meaning
this
2021.
Year?
Yeah, so, they have the Maple Leafs have had 6 back-to-backs in 2021, and they have 7 in 2022.
Well, they suck, so that's why they give
13 13 back-to-backs.
They're always bad for back-to-backs.
The Avs only have 11, okay? Just be happy.
I am. But to answer your question, if they go 3-0 on this trip...
Yes.
Or this 3-game stretch.
Yes.
And that's a big if.
You'll call it a
they
win.
did on this one.
I will call it a win.
Much bigger if, Brandon.
This is a way bigger if.
Yeah.
Because you're playing the Wild, who right now is running away with the Central because they're playing phenomenal.
Yep.
And the Jets, you never know what Jets team you're going to get.
Yeah, it's a hard 3 games. It's a very hard 3 games.
So I am genuinely excited for Wednesday's game.
Well, you should, because Nathan McKinnon should be back in the lineup.
Yo, I have him in fantasy. It's about time. It's about time. I traded for him, and he didn't even play a single game for me. He's been out since I traded for him. But what I'm excited about, though, is after our conversation today, I pulled it up. Goals per game, the Avalanche are in first place. Goals against the Leafs are second.
So they have the second least.
Yes, that's what I mean. So in the league, number 1 is the Flames, number 2 is the Maple Leafs. So to say they're a defensive team, yes, they absolutely are. Yeah, they are second in the league for goals against, whereas the Avalanche is first in the league for goals per game, because they've played much less games than other teams, right? For goals, they're in 5th place, but they're 4 games behind the Washington Capitals. So goals per game, they're in first place, and the Leafs are in 15th. So this game on Wednesday will be a true test to how good the Maple Leafs defense is.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Are they truly a strong defensive team, or have they been playing weak offensive teams? That's what I'm excited to see, though.
The other thing too that this game will show is how fleet-footed your defensive core is.
Because you got a very fast team with Avalanche.
So Colorado is one of the quickest teams in the league. So that, but then also too, Colorado can't sleep on the top 6 in Toronto because
absolutely not.
Nylander, Marner, Matthews, Tavares, even Bunting right now, any open space,
they're going to Simmons. Over. It's like any Maple Leaf. Camp has scored more goals this year than his career, I'm pretty sure.
All right, guys.
They're producing offensively across the board.
Don't bring up Camp to me, okay?
I will bring up Camp.
James, you brought up a good point. Like, are the last couple teams we played actually good offensively? Like, are we a defensive team? So the last 10 games, we were 9-1. So I'm going to bring up. I'm just going to mention. We're not going to spend time, but I'm going to say each game, and I want you guys to say, are they a strong offensive team or not? Just easy. Okay. So, Maple Leafs Flames 2-1 win for the Leafs. Are the Flames strong offensively or not?
Yes.
I would say yes.
And I'm just going to add to that real quick, because I have it up right here. They're 7th in the league goals per game, and they're 1st in the league for goals against.
Okay.
They're the team above the Leafs for goals against.
Okay.
So they're in the top of both sides of that leaderboard. So yes, I'm going to say they're offensive.
All right. Sabres. I'm going to say no.
No.
Okay.
My men's league on Tuesday is a stronger offensive team than them.
Preds.
I wouldn't say they're weak. I wouldn't say they're strong. I think they're a middle pack.
Yeah, I don't know enough about them.
I'm going to say no then. I'll be the tiebreaker, and I'm going to say no. Is that fair?
22nd in the league for goals.
So I'm going to say no. The Rangers. 2-1 for the Leafs.
I'd say yes. Yes, Rangers.
I would say yeah.
Okay.
I agree with James on that one.
Okay. Pens.
Sorry, quick question. Yes or no? Are Leafs an offensive team?
Are the Leafs an offensive team?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Don't. Come on, I have the goals per game in here, so I can see which teams are above the Leafs. So if we're saying yes, the Leafs are an offensive team, I want to see which teams are above them. That's why I asked that question.
Keep track of that. Penguins.
I'm gonna say no.
You don't think they're a strong offensive team?
I have the stats in front of me.
I don't think they're a strong offensive team anymore.
Genuinely, I would say no. I'm not looking at the stats when I say that answer. I'm gonna say no.
I'm kind of in the boat from before with you guys. Like, I'm not sure, yes or no. So I'm gonna say no because you guys both said no.
Okay.
Islanders. I'm gonna say no.
No.
The Kings. I'm gonna say no.
No.
Not yet.
But currently, when the Leafs
when
played
Doughty gets back.
But when the Kings, when they played the Leafs and the Leafs won, were they?
No,
no. Brandon, well,
but that's what I'm saying.
But the Kings beat the Leafs 5-1.
Yeah.
But I'm
earlier in the season, right?
Fair.
You can't,
I'm saying
it off a 10-game stretch for the Leafs.
I'm saying in the last 10 games,
no.
Were they strong? No. Okay.
No.
Sharks? No.
No.
If we're basing it off of that, no. But they're stronger than they actually are.
Ducks.
See, the Ducks have been
good this year. They've been good.
I'll give them a good. So you want to know what the total is?
Sure.
We've got seven bad and 3 good.
Yeah.
So they have not been playing strong teams.
No.
No.
That's what I said. Like, that's Wednesday will be a good test to see what the Leafs are really made of. But on that quick note, Ducks and Rangers are above Leafs for goals per game.
Okay.
Yeah. So are the Flames.
And we did say those 3 were the ones that we said were above them.
Yeah.
so were Bruins, Lightning, and Golden Knights, and Leafs beat all 3 of them.
Yeah. But I'm just going off the last 10 games where we went.
I just happened to see it, so I thought I'd throw it out there.
I feel like those last 3 you just mentioned, I'm pretty sure the Leafs cheated. They were on they had steroids for the second game, and I'm pretty sure they gave food poisoning to the last one.
It's called good defense. It's called good.
That's called anabolic steroids now.
That's how the Kings won the Stanley Cup in 12-4. Dude, hey, they got Drew Doughty.
The only team I know that went skiing in June.
No kidding. All right, I think so. Is that it for the Leafs for right now? Is that all we have to say for the Leafs?
That's all I got for the Leafs this week.
Unless you want to do the predictions now, or we can wait till before we sign off.
We can do it now. Let's do it now. Let me just pull up.
All right.
What do we have? We have. Oh, right. There's 4 games.
What, I missed one?
Jackets, Blue Jackets on
Tuesday.
Because we record on Wednesday, right?
So are they playing Wednesday night?
They play Tuesday.
Okay. All right. Yeah, it's just
this week's back at home.
This week's a special week.
Yeah. We're recording this on Monday, so yeah, it's
Blue Jackets play the Predators tomorrow.
Well, dude, next Tuesday.
Next.
Usually we record on Wednesdays, right? Next Tuesday, the 7th.
You're talking December 7th.
Yes, we record on December 8th. The Leafs play the Blue Jackets on December 7th. Ooh, and then the Lightning on the 9th. We play the Oilers on the 14th.
Yo.
That's an L.
That'll be a good game.
You know what's sad?
Watch.
I have tickets to see the Leafs play the Oilers, and I was supposed to go fly out to Edmonton with my dad, and we can't go now, so I'm selling the tickets.
Why not?
The flight, because we were going through Swoop in Hamilton, and they called my dad like 2 days ago, like, hey, there's not enough people on your flight, so we're canceling it. We're like, what?
That sucks.
It's like, if you want, we can reschedule you for the day before, and you have to come back a day after. So I'm like, I have to take like an extra 2 days off of work.
Yeah.
So
no thanks.
Can't.
How much you want for the tickets? I feel like I need a vacation.
Can you make it to Edmonton?
That's it. How long of a drive is it?
I'll start now.
3 days. 3 days.
Yeah, I think it's like 2-3 days actually.
It's about 37 hours. 38
I
hours.
wanted to.
The
I
worst
would
part
love.
of it is getting out of Ontario.
Yes.
I have them. I'm gonna see if I can maybe.
StubHub.
Yeah.
All right, so let's do this. Let's do this. Leafs against Avalanche on Wednesday. Chase, I'll let you. I'm gonna write these down. Hold on.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
So, you think Leafs are gonna lose to Avalanche?
Yes.
Like that positive energy. I like that positive energy.
I told you I gotta go positive for this game.
Yeah, you gotta start getting on my train. Get positive, Brandon. Win or lose for Leafs?
Leafs win.
Ooh.
You know what, that might be one of the most positive picks or most decisive picks he's made since we started doing this.
Every week, after like the third week, I've gotten more and more positive.
I am also going to say a big win.
Yeah.
For the Leafs.
Yeah. Can I?
Yeah.
Guys, I think I was like on the precipice last week, and James was trying to convince me, and I'm like, I'm all in. I'm scared, but I'm all in.
Get that Homer Simpson meme. He's coming out of the bushes.
Yep.
Hey,
all right,
at least I'm all in. At least
Brandon?
I'm saying it now so that in case I'm like in April, and then I'm like, you know what, I'm all in, and you guys will fucking rip on me. So you know what, I'm saying it now, and
it only took what 12 wins, 14 games.
Oh yeah, because they had such a great start that made me really believe in them.
Saying.
They have
so Brandon, Minnesota Wild. What are they doing? Win or lose?
Okay, so because the hard thing is, I don't think they're going to go 3 for 3 this week.
4 games.
4 for 4 this week. But the picking that I think they lose to the Wild.
Okay, so do I. Chase?
Yeah, I'm gonna go with a loss there.
Oh, 2 losses in a row. All right, next.
Minnesota's playing too good right now.
They're playing very well.
Okay. Then so on the other end of the back-to-back, Jets.
I say
traveling from Minnesota to both are away games.
So I think the Leafs take this one for 2 reasons.
Okay.
1, I want Joseph Woll to continue his streak. And 2, I have Halibut in my fantasy league, so of course he's going to lose.
Chase?
Traveling. Winnipeg has not been that strong lately. They've been struggling, so I'm going to go with that. Should be a win for Toronto.
I'm also going to say a win.
Woo!
Yeah, and then last not least, Columbus Jackets, who I know nothing about, so I'm going to say win.
Oh, yeah.
I literally could not tell you anything except for Rick Nash used to play with them.
I'm going to go with a bold move. And I'm going to say a loss.
Well, you're like trying to tank us?
Only because I stick with the loss, hands down. Like, I'm just because I got to go with a bold move. I got to throw it out there.
Or Cotton.
But if Elvis Merzlikins starts,
yeah,
he's a game changer, and they're a team that's just playing hockey. Like, there's no expectations, and they've been playing well. And Cole Sillinger has been lights out as a rookie this year. So why not? Let's try it. I'm going to probably be wrong, but let's throw it out there.
Brandon?
I see the Leafs take it. The Blue Jackets are just playing middling hockey right now. They're not bad. They're not great. They're out of a playoff spot right now. I think the Leafs take them. All
right, there we go.
But just remember, they have the greatest name in hockey on the squad, Elvis Merzlikins.
That is a pretty sick name. That's gonna be a pain in the ass on the jersey. That's like going down the arms.
That's not too bad, actually.
It does take up quite a bit.
No, it's shoulder to shoulder for sure.
I've seen it. It takes up. All right, let's What else do we have to talk about here? Because I kind of want to get into some of the penalties and suspensions I've been handing out, but I don't think I'm ready to pure negative yet.
Okay.
So let's just go out there and go ahead.
Can I mention something funny then? If you want something to kind of cut the tension.
What do you got?
Did you see Panarin throw his glove at Pasternak the other night?
I saw it live.
That was funny.
It wasn't night. It was an afternoon game. It was a 1 p.m. game.
Sorry.
He also threw it at Marchand, not Pasternak.
Are you sure?
It was 1,000%. He threw it at Marchand, hit him in the chest.
Because
Pasternak was sitting in behind.
No, you're right.
No point looking it up.
No,
he hit Marchand in the chest.
I had Marchand, and then I looked at my screenshot from earlier, and it said I misread it because I was just doing it on the fly. I'm like, oh shit. It says David Pasternak is completely unfazed by Artemi Panarin chucking a glove at Brad Marchand. So I corrected myself wrong.
So I'm assuming you guys both saw replays of it?
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
So I happened to have the game on, like, just in the background while I was working, and all of a sudden, like, they said, he just threw his glove, and so I looked at the TV, and there's the girl, I don't know what her name is, but she's in between the benches, and they showed a replay, and like, Panarin just reaches over and chucks the glove right across her, and she's just like, so a glove just got thrown in front of me, and she's like, are they going to start fighting? I can't stop a fight. I can't break this kind of thing up. And it was so funny. And then during the replay, they had her talking about it. She's like, I don't know what just happened. She's like, all of a sudden, a glove just came flying across at Marchand's chest.
Well, the funny thing actually, two funny things was when it happens right away and they both start yelling back and forth. As someone that's been, like, my brother in broadcast ended a couple games, there's a cough button, so that way it cuts your mic. She presses it. She presses it right away because she knew what was coming.
Yeah.
After the game, they asked Marchand, like, "Well, how come he threw the glove at you?" He looked at me. Oh, I don't know. We were talking about what we had for Thanksgiving dinner. He must have not liked what I had.
Oh, so I don't know exactly what it was. So when I was watching the game,
he's joking around. He's trying to cut the tension.
Absolutely, but when I was watching the game, it was in the background, right? So I wasn't really watching it. I had it playing, and I heard Marchand's name being said over and over and over, and then they went to the benches, and then all of a sudden I heard threw a glove at Marchand. I was like, I don't know what he did, but he deserved it.
Well, I guess the rumor is he made some comments to Panarin about not being wanted back in Russia because he spoke out against Putin.
Oh.
If that's true, like, no one can get a full thing, but the way that Panarin answered it in the press was, I think, the best answer possible. He said, thanks to the old GM because he gave me $11.6 million on my last contract, so it doesn't faze me because he got fined $5,000. So I thought that, like, great for him for being able to throw the comedy in there and just stop the conversation, like, right away.
Like, let's talk about the stupid fines that these players get.
Oh, I know.
If you fine me $5,000, yeah, that's going to impact me.
A little bit.
You fine me $10,000, that's going to impact me. You fine an $11 million player $5,000.
It's essentially it's a cup of
like,
coffee.
Right? Like,
and a drop in the bucket.
I'm like, let's up these fines. I think fines should be handed out on a player by player basis.
But
because if someone is making, yeah, like,
it should be
you get fined 2% of your salary.
Yeah.
That way, okay, I just thought of this though. Hold on. Then you bring a guy in at league min and he does some dirty shit. And it's like, oh, well, he only gets fined 2% of his salary. 2% of league min isn't, like that means Spezza could run around pulling the dirtiest kind of moves, and he's paying very minimal for it. And he's their guy to do that kind of.
Yeah.
Right? So there's two sides to that coin. Because I do get it, Brandon. Like, throwing a glove, that's one thing.
Yeah.
But there's been some slashes and some hits where people have been fined $5,000 for 2 hits.
And they don't care.
It's like $5,000. What's, like, that stick costs $5,000.
I have
skates cost $5,000. Like,
I have my
I'm exaggerating.
My cousin works at I can't say the name of the place, but he works at a club in Toronto where a lot of NHL players go. And he's met guys like he met Kadri and he met JVR and he's met like some of the other guys there. And he's like, man, like they run a bottle service all night and they have $15,000, $20,000, $25,000 nights out as like a casual go and drink, hang out kind of night.
And yet they're being fined $5,000 to $10,000.
So like, if you go by that logic, I'll go out if I go out to like a Niagara or something like that. I'll spend a couple $100.
It's the same equivalent.
Yeah. It's like me getting fined $200 for smashing someone in the face with a stick. It doesn't really it doesn't add up.
Nope. And like even some players like $100,000 to Panarin. It's significant,
mm-hmm.
but
again, is it really going to change the way he plays hockey?
Maybe $100,000.
It might.
You actually put me onto a podcast. So I would say Agent Provocateur, and they talk about how much an NHL player actually takes home.
You heard that,
eh? And I was like,
Chase, hold on, sorry.
I won't bring it.
Chase,
you do it.
Do you know this?
No, when I got in, I honestly passed out before hockey. So
how much money do you think per million an NHL player walks home? So let's say I get signed to $1 million. How much do you think at the end of the year I get put in my bank account?
Well, the other question though it runs into which state or province are you playing in because it
does not matter. Does not matter. They said it pretty much evens out
because these tax guys, depending on if you're in the States or Canada, you pay these guys to finagle the money.
Let's say 40%.
So which means I walk home with $600,000.
Yeah.
So you said, I get 40%.
Sorry, you get 40%. So you'd be walking home with $400,000.
$300,000.
That's pretty
per million.
Brutal,
per
man.
million they are paid. You're walking home with $300,000.
Which is stupid because you look at Max Scherzer in the MLB today. He signs a 3-year deal worth $43.5 million per season.
Yeah.
Like it's
right.
I get 300 grand a year. I mean, I will not say no to.
Oh, I'm not gonna laugh at that. I'm taking it to the bank.
The taxing is so fucking stupid, man.
Well, and they said in that episode they talk about like there's like taxes and fees and other fees and this not just taxes. It's like taxes are number one.
Yeah.
And then there's like NHL fee and this fee and that fee and
your NHL PA pension,
it's a number of things. And that's why I said like state, province, country doesn't really matter because at the end of the day, between all the different things that are moving, you're approximately getting $300,000 per million.
Yeah, it might come out a little bit further ahead if you're in like the state of Florida with no state tax, or the state of state of Texas with no state tax.
A little bit, but I'm sure there's other fees that you have.
Oh no, for sure, but that's probably why you still see though players kind of want to flood to those two areas or even Alberta, because if you can make an extra, let's say $50,000 a year, do it. Like that's extra cash.
Yeah. I do think I should just because we are discussing it in pretty good detail right now, I should mention that in case anyone wants to listen to it, it's called Agent Provocateur with Alan Walsh and Adam Wilde. I started listening today. James brought it up. Fantastic.
It's good.
Fantastic. They I don't want to pump them up too much unless they want to give me a couple bucks, but down the road. But yeah, some really good interviews with those guys. Really good. Yeah, it's worth giving a listen to. Yeah.
All right, so I'm gonna switch over things here because on the topic of Brad Marchand, he just got suspended 3 games. Right, he just received his 3-game suspension for slew footing.
Yes, for slew footing.
Is that the right term? Yeah, yes. Thank you. So, was it deserved? Yes. Yeah. The suspension was deserved. The fact that he didn't get a penalty for it was hard to call. Whatever. In my opinion, he should have got a 2-minute penalty. Even if they handed out a roughing penalty, it should have been a penalty, right? And I should explain this to Chase earlier, is the Bruins, I don't know how the game ended. I don't know what the final score of the game was, but
Bruins won 3-2.
3-2. If they had handed him a 2-minute roughing penalty, they could have tied that game and gone to overtime and possibly won it. That penalty could have caused.
It could have, because the slew foot took place like a minute 30 into the game.
Oh, did it? Okay, so yeah. So all I saw was the actual hit. I didn't see anything else to it. So, but what I'm saying is, like, they didn't call a penalty, which could have led to a power play, which could have led to that can change the whole tide of the game, especially a minute 30 into the game.
Yes.
So, but on that note, we have Brad Marchand getting 3-game suspension, which I do agree with. He deserves it. You can't be doing things like that. But what's been going on lately in the league that's been really pissing me off and bugging me is all the hits, slashes, headshots that have been happening that people are just kind of dismissing. And I'm going to say dismissing because they literally haven't. I can talk about 3 different occasions, and I'll read you a quote, and it's from none of those 3. So, actually, we talked about this. Brandon, have you seen the cross-check from Quentin Hughes and Samuel Girard?
No.
Okay. Search it now, see if you can find it and play it. I'll keep talking about it. And then there's have you guys seen the slashing?
I'm watching it now.
Morrissey on Texier?
Yeah. Have you seen that one?
Fucking stupid.
Is it the hit, Brandon? Or is it the cross? Wait for the cross.
That was the hit.
Wait for the cross. It was a clean hit. It was a clean hit.
Yeah, it was just a good hit.
Wait for the cross check.
Oh, that's so blatant.
Okay, so pause it there. That's where we're going to end it. So, speaking, and then have you seen the Morrissey, the 2-hand to the legs?
No.
Slashes Texier from Columbus.
Yeah, it's another pretty blatant one.
Yeah, because it's after an empty net goal.
Yeah, and like the empty net shot is nowhere near the players involved with the penalty. Yeah. So we're gonna start with Crosby. I know we talked about it last year. Crosby throws Fairvey head first into the boards.
Yeah.
Literally face first into the boards. No penalty, no injury, no consequences. And the announcer, they said there's a lot of frustration going on the ice. Crosby looks a little frustrated too. That's it. That's all they said. Not look at what he did, what's he doing, what are the refs doing. The announcers announcing the game said Crosby looks a little frustrated too. Moving on to the Morrissey slash, I'm going to call it slash, 2-hand, whatever, on Texier. After it happened, because was it Peak or whatever his name is, he shot it from his own end, it hit the post, went in. As it goes in, Morrissey turns, 2-hands him across the legs. Oh, it's a goal, Peak got a goal, and Morrissey's going to the box. That's exactly. I went back and listened to the play-by-play.
Yeah.
Peak scored the goal, and Morrissey is going to the box. Okay.
Was that so? Quickly, just a quick question for you. Was that the Columbus feed, like the Bala Sports or whatever?
I don't know which feed it was.
Oh, okay, because the guys from Columbus literally just shook it off like, oh, the Morrissey's going to the penalty box. It's a power play.
Which is exactly that's what it could have. And more. It was like, oh, it's a goal, and he's going to the box.
Did he just get a penalty? That's it.
He didn't just 2-hand this guy across the shins. Oh, and he's going to the box. And then so Brandon, you just watched it.
Yeah.
Quinn Hughes cross-checked Samuel Girard across like the top shoulder, almost neck area, and literally broke his stick around him. The quote from the announcers. Oh, Quinn Hughes lost his cool. And that is how they say it. Oh, Quinn Hughes lost his cool. And then I was listening to the 32 Thoughts podcast with Jeff Merrick and Elliot Friedman, and they were talking about the situation, and I don't have the exact quote, but essentially what they said is he cares a lot about the team, he cares a lot about the sport, he got frustrated, and he took it out on him after getting a hit. I'm now going to read you a quote from a couple years ago. And the quote is, "It just went a little too far." And that is what the announcer said multiple times when Todd Bertuzzi broke Steve Moore's neck by punching him in the back and dropping on top of him. It just went a little too far. When the fuck are we drawing a line in the sand?
Never.
Like, at what fucking point do we say enough is enough? Crosby throws a guy face first into the boards. He's a little frustrated, right? Quinn Hughes cross-checks somebody pretty much across the neck. He's a little frustrated. He lost his cool. It's all right. And I know last week we talked about the announcer or the referees. The refs need to step it up, fire the whole squad, get new refs, let's go. No. At what point do we look at the NHL as a whole organization and say fuck it to all of them? The announcers, he lost his cool, right? Elliot Friedman, who is a big personality, he's a little frustrated. It's cool to cross-check someone. What if he had broken Gerard's neck?
Absolutely ridiculous.
Did he take it a little too far? Is that all it is? Like, where do we draw the line and say this is too much? Like, there needs to be an example set, and I'm hoping Marchand getting those 3 games is maybe it turning, right? Because in the past, Marchand could have done that and gotten away with it, right? As Chase pointed out, Subban has done that and gotten away with it. Like, are they at a point where hopefully they start calling things? Or is it going to go out of hand until somebody else gets their broke?
It's going to keep happening until a big thing happens, because that's how the NHL works. They're probably the most behind out of all the big sports, in everything.
I wouldn't go that far.
Well, but that's the thing is, it's not, and like there was the whole controversial recently about John Tortorella and Connor McDavid, right?
Yeah,
he just needs to suck it up. Right, he just needs to suck it up. Does Samuel Girard just need to suck it up because he got cross-checked in the back? Right? Does Farabee need to suck it up because he was thrown face first into the boards?
No. So that comment though, some people were taking the context. That's because McDavid comes out in the media and complains about the hacks, the whacks.
As he should.
Okay,
but complain about it, but that's hockey. Every player gets slashed. Every player gets roughed. Everybody gets face washed. Just because you're this big talent doesn't mean you get special privilege.
No, it means the ref should call the game.
And I get it. It is part of hockey, I get that. But you look at people like Elliot Friedman and some of these announcers all across the league who have been in the league for 10, 15, 20 years, who have the mindset of, just suck it up, kid. You're going to be fine. What point is it not fine to suck it up? At what point is it a little too far?
No,
and are we going to let it get to the point where it goes too far and they're like, you know what? That guy's dead. Let's bring it back.
And that's the whole thing. Like, I understand your point because like it's towards the slew foots, the head hunting, the boarding, all that kind of stuff. But the point I'm trying to make is when McDavid's complaining, he's complaining because some guys grabbed his jersey with the open hand. Or he's getting hooked for coming out the corner. To me, that's hockey. Okay, you can make your complaints, but this isn't the NBA. We're not going to start calling every little thing because you're this all-star. Because then you're going to be giving guys like Matthews power plays 30 times a game.
I'm not saying at that point giving little slashes is one thing. What I'm trying to point out is it's the mindset of.
Yes.
It's the mindset of just suck it up. It's the mindset of the announcers going, Quinn Hughes just lost his cool. Right? It's that mindset of when Matthews Crosby threw Farabee face first. And I keep coming back to that one because even though it ended in no injury, no penalty, no suspension, it easily could have gone sideways very, very quickly.
Oh, yeah, totally.
And I went back and watched the replay again today, and like Farabee, he wasn't latched on to Crosby. He wasn't pushing against him. They were skating side by side. Right? I don't know when we originally talked about it, we said that he was... They weren't. He was skating side by side with Crosby, and he threw him face first. And it happened. The play went the other way. Washington went down, put a shot on net. It was covered, and the announcers came back to it like, oh, and well, yeah, there's a lot of frustration on the ice. Looks like Crosby's frustrated too. Like, they dismissed it the same way that Tortorella dismissed, just suck it up. As if like, hey kid, it's part of hockey. Like, there's gonna be dirty things. But at what point do we draw a line in the sand and say, this is too much?
At what point do we say...
You cannot put someone face first into the boards. No. That is too much. Cross-checking someone across the back, like across the number, not even across the name, across the top shoulders, across the neck. That is too much, right? No, Binnington didn't make contact. He swung at a player's head. That is too much.
Yeah. No, and
Morrissey two-handed him. Like, at what point is it too much?
But that's the thing. Like, those kind of instances, like, you got like, even if you don't call a penalty in the game there, that's got to be reviewable after. Like, a team's got to go to the league and say, here. But the whole thing is though, like, players do have to, like, some of the younger players now do have to suck it up in the sense where you're going to get hooked, you're going to get tapped because they're not playing contact until 13, 14.
Okay,
they're
but
being put into a bubble.
Okay, but the way that McDavid is being hooked and slashed and tripped is different than bunting. Or it's different than any other player in the league. It is not the same. Like, I guarantee McDavid is being slashed at twice the rate of the majority of good players.
Absolutely. It's because
not just players, good players.
Because of his speed.
Exactly. You can't catch him, so you have to slash and hack at him.
Because he's fast, he's allowed to get attacked.
Yeah, it's bullshit.
Look what happened to Crosby when he almost had his finger taken off because he was flashed.
Yeah, but James, suck it up.
Mathot also got a suspension for that as well.
Okay, so is that what it's going to take for McDavid to call a penalty or a suspension for his finger to get fucking chopped off? But that's not right. No. The refs need to step in and do something, and the entire NHL as an organization step in and do something. Because the announcers brushed off like it's nothing, and even people reviewing it brushed off like it's nothing. Like, at what point does everyone need to kind of come together and start being like, that's not okay?
Where's the NHLPA on this?
Out to lunch.
Do they do anything?
Like, they actually do. They do quite a bit, but the guy that's running it is awful.
If I was the players, I'd be like, I want someone else running this.
No, they won't, because the guy that's running it was able to make sure that they got higher salary caps and they could keep making the money they can. That's why there was a lockout.
And they get it's almost like profit sharing with the team, don't they?
Yeah. Yes.
Like, how much money the team makes, they get a little piece of Well,
so he struck a good deal. It's just him and Bettman together. But there's an easy, simple solution if you want to cut a lot of this dirty shit out. Go to international sized ice. The game has become so much quicker than it has in the past. You open up the ice, you make it wider. You don't have the same kind of hits. You don't have the same kind of slashing because you have to play positional.
Or rather than rebuilding 32 arenas, we get referees that call penalties. They have a rule book. And look at the Maple Leaf Boston, where Bergeron pushed Tavares through the net and the puck went in. That was a goal. That was a goal for one reason alone. The rule book said so. They have a rule book. Use it.
It's just
the other thing though, you can clear house. Like, I agree. Like, there's got to be either new standards for reffing or new refs in general. But when the game is this quick, they're not going to catch everything. It won't be called inside the games. But if you make you don't have to rebuild 32 rinks. A lot of them have the ability to move that bottom few rows back.
Chase, the amount of times I've seen refs staring at a play where someone gets cross-checked in the face or something, and it's just like, okay, game on. Like what we were just talking about, the slash. The camera's on it. You're like they're the only two players
he
there.
He got a penalty.
That's not the right example you want to throw out. He got
a penalty.
He should have got more than a penalty. But that was assault. That wasn't just a slash. That was assault. And
it
was on
tell Nick Ritchie he's going to be getting penalized for every little thing he does because he plays that style of game.
Well, he does not two-hand players. He does not cross-check players. He does not slew foot them.
He doesn't cross-check players.
Okay, shoving somebody and cross-checking, breaking your stick over their neck are two different things. Shoving somebody is different than cross-checking somebody.
Yeah.
But that's it.
If you're
going to put cross-checking in one big envelope, you have to be able to section it. That cross-check, that's blatant.
Yes, it was. When you put
cross-checking in general is not blatant.
Stick to a player and then shove them, that is not a cross-check. When you start the forward motion before hitting them, that is a cross-check.
Technically in the rule book, anytime you have your hands like you go forward, if it's the stick's on the back, it's a cross-check.
Call it.
So then Richie will start getting called like crazy because he does that.
And you know what? These guys
call it.
And you know what? These guys
because then every
will
single
adapt.
defenseman in the league will be getting them as well.
Then they adapt.
And at that point, no one is cross-checking.
Yeah.
And
they said they were going to.
Maybe they open up a new rule saying that you can shove somebody off with your stick. You cannot blatantly break it over their back.
But then that's going to be the same thing that you're complaining about now. If you make that next rule where you can shove people with your stick, then you're going to have a ref that, by discretion, that he's calling the game, he can then look at it and go, no, you can see a cross check. No, he just shoved him. This is where
it would happen. You absolutely will have refs.
But at the very least, it'll deter people from doing that.
And it's up to the NHL to look at a ref, see how many calls he has made poorly like that, and keep him or dismiss him. It's not. That's what I'm trying to say. It's not just a reffing problem. It's an entire organization. It's an entire mentality. Because I like rough hockey. I love playoff hockey. But I want to see players get hit into the boards. I want to see players get hit. And even then, like I'm okay with the odd dirty thing, as long as it does not involve a player's neck or head.
Dirty hockey is very different from rough hockey. There's the odd dirty hit. It's gonna happen, but you have to deter it for the most part. You can't just these refs are. I said it last week. It's pathetic. They're useless. And you know what? You can disagree with me if you want. Worst professional refs in North America. I'm assuming in the Russian league and all that stuff. There's other shit that gets going by, but football, baseball, basketball, worst reffing. Absolutely.
Well, the problem is you can't really compare baseball or basketball to hockey.
You're right, but
neither of them are contact sports.
But you know what? But that's what the NHL ref should be held to a higher level. Then you're reffing a contact sport, so you are in charge of safety here. If someone's getting smashed in the face, you shouldn't be allowing that, and you should make sure other players don't do that again. If you're letting people cross-check people in the back of the head and just giving them a slap on the wrist, like, oh, that's 2 minutes, man. You really shouldn't do that.
What happened.
That should be cross-check to the back of the head. You're out 10 games.
Sorry, Chase, what were you saying there?
But if we're going to start comparing sports and refereeing, if you don't watch those other sports, there's no way to compare them.
And I don't watch them. I can just say, 2 of the 3 that he named are not contact. Which makes it very difficult.
But
if
based
you
on
look
that,
at the NFL or any football leagues, you're going to have the same. It's the same shit.
Yeah, there's gonna be dirty things. There's gonna be things that are uncalled, but what comes down to it is the consistency of it. Do they miss 1 or 2 calls a game, or do they miss 10 or 12 calls a game?
If you're let's compare the 2 contact ones, football and hockey. And let's compare the slash. I would compare after the whistle slash, 2-hand slash, not part of the game. That's like assault with a weapon. What he did. That's like someone in football taking off their helmet and smacking someone in the face with it.
That actually happened 2 years ago.
Oh, 2 years ago. Okay. How often do you think that happens in hockey? A lot more than once every 2 years. Something bullshit like that happens.
Not that blatant of a slash.
Not that bad.
Maybe not that slash, but what about a blatant cross check to the face? What about spear to the nuts?
Brandon, I'm going past the ref because again, the topic that you just brought up with the slash, he got a penalty for it. My bigger
is that enough to deter them from doing something that dirty? A 2-minute slap on the wrist.
Okay, but my bigger concern is the fact that the announcers
they're okay
straight up said, and Morrissey is going to the box too.
I think what James
he got a goal.
Culture change.
It's that's what I'm looking for. It's not just the reffing. The reffing is an issue, but it's the fact that he two-handed a guy, and the refs went, "Oh, he got a goal from his head. Oh, and he's going to the box."
Yeah. Well, I'm just saying it was
as if it was almost like they made it the same severity as a holding.
Yeah.
Call.
But that's
right.
That's what I'm saying. It stems from the reffing because they're saying it's okay.
No, it does not
stem
from the reffing.
Because the refs, Brent, in that situation, the refs said it's not okay. They gave him a penalty. They were the ones who said it is not okay to do that. The refs aren't the ones who suspend people. They're not the ones who fine people. They're the ones on the ice during 60 minutes who say that's okay and that is not. And with that slash, they said that is not okay. You're serving 2 minutes in the box.
2 minutes in the box.
Would you want to kick him out of the game?
That was
3 minutes left. Okay, cool. See you later. Even then, the refs made the right call. They said that was not allowed. What was wrong is the NHL did not suspend him.
I agree.
I don't know if he got a fine for it, and the announcers mentioned it.
Did
not
5K fine. So now he's on the radar. So if he does anything remotely dirty now, the next step is suspension.
Right, but if I didn't show you the clip and I just played, and all you heard was, he scored a goal from his own end, and Morris is going to the box. I can pause right there and say, what was the penalty for? Did Morrissey, the goaltender, skate into the trapezoid with the puck and get a delay game? Did someone put it over the glass for a delay game? Did someone get held, or did someone get two-handed across the legs?
You're absolutely correct. It's the culmination.
It's a culture.
It's the
it's
NHL.
Everything.
It's what do they call them? Hockey men. And it's the referees, and it's the NHLPA. And
it's the same, and I bring it up again. It's that mentality of just suck it up. It's part of hockey.
Do you think?
And I like rough hockey.
Yeah,
that is not fair, and no matter what, that kind of play is going to happen. I've been on the ice. I've been in that situation. I've probably made hits or plays similar to that one. Like, I've been there. It's an emotional game. Yeah. You get emotional. You get angry. You get frustrated. You make those kind of plays.
But you shouldn't be accepted.
That does not mean it's okay.
No. Yeah. There's hardly a deterrent. A 2-minute penalty is hardly a deterrent to do that. And the announcer saying, "Oh, you got a penalty." That if I was listening to that on the radio broadcast, I'd be like, "Oh, like what did he do? Did he was it like unsportsmanlike and he like shot the puck or something like that?" No, I didn't realize he assaulted the guy.
And
I won't say that the 2-minute penalty isn't a deterrent, because like let's go back into the World Juniors. What was it? 2015, 2016? Jake Virtanen took a bad slashing penalty, caused a comeback goal to tie the game. It was with, I think it was 8 minutes left. What happens to him? He's now riding the pine. So when you're losing your ice time, you're losing your ability to either make or get yourself to be like a top player in the league, and now you're costing your team games or anything else if that happens in the playoffs. Wow. Now you're ultimately screwed, because guess what? There's so much talent that there could be a guy waiting in the wings, and then next thing you know, you're back in the minors. You're riding a sticky vinyl seat back home to mommy. But it's not necessarily. I wouldn't say it's not a deterrent, but there could be better options.
What if you're a star player? That doesn't happen. If Arturi Panarin did that to somebody, do you think there's a chance he goes down to the minors, anything like that? No.
He faces a 2-minute penalty and a fine.
See healthy scratch or benching.
No.
Oh no, Panarin? No.
Oh yeah.
Panarin.
If it causes a big issue, yes.
Well,
yeah,
so
but that's a lot of ifs.
And that's the other thing is like if it was a 2-1 game or 2 game and he did that, right? That open net goal put them up 3-0 with 3 minutes left. Like, so even if he gets a penalty, the other team scores. Now it's 4-0. It's not like they're going to lose the game because of that penalty. They're already losing that game.
And that was just saying. Like, I wouldn't say it's not like a 2-minute penalty is not like a full deterrent, but I'm not saying that it's not a deterrent. Like,
the refs did the right thing on that one, right? They on the ice during their 60 minutes where they have they said that is not allowed.
Yeah.
The NHL hitting him with a $50,000 or a $5,000 fine. They're like, yeah, it's okay.
That should be high. If you're gonna fine him, be higher. But I honestly, something like that though, like that's a suspension right away.
Suspend him 2 games and a $5,000 fine.
I still disagree with the stupid $5,000 fine thing, and I think you guys agree with me on that. That's
I do too.
Ridiculous. Like, this should be changed.
I do too.
For bigger players, maybe for fringe bottom 6 guys, that's a deterrent. But if you are a top 6 forward, top 2 pair defenseman, and you do something like that, it's like, hey, you really shouldn't do that. And it's something that could be career-ending to another player, and it's a slap on the wrist. It's disgusting, and the NHL doesn't give a shit. They really don't, and that needs to change. You said culture change. You're absolutely correct on that. And
it's not just a reffing change. It's
a full culture change.
At least, and I like physical hockey. I do. I love watching playoff hockey.
Yeah.
Sometimes they take it a little too far. But I love watching physical hockey. It is body checking, part of the game.
Yeah.
Slashing, tripping, it's part of the game. It's going to happen no matter what.
Yeah.
It's to the extent that it happens that needs to be changed.
Yeah.
Right?
There has to
dirty shots are going to happen. They are.
But you're supposed
no matter what.
You're supposed to deter them as much as you can.
It's and at this point, it's getting too far out of hand.
Yeah.
And I'm hoping Marchand getting suspended, because Marchand's not a guy who gets suspended.
No.
It's very far in between.
Last suspension for him, I think, was 2015 or 2017.
That is shocking.
It's either 2015 or 2017.
Right, so it's been a while, and hopefully, with this 3-game suspension, that's kind of putting it in order. Like, you know what? You can't do this, and that because Brad Marchand's a guy who's got away with a lot of things.
Yes.
And maybe this is kind of the signal that you can't get away with that anymore. Maybe the refs are starting to make a change.
Or
not the refs, sorry, the NHL. Sorry, the NHL. The refs didn't call it.
If they wanted to really start that, they should have done it 2 months ago when Subban did it to Sammy Blais in New York, and it tore his ACL. But they didn't do it to him, but of course they do it to Marchand, which his slew foot was not near as bad. But of course, it's Brad Marchand, so we're going to get him.
I mean, you can't really. It's Brad Marchand. We're going to get him. Talking about the guy who hasn't been suspended since 2014.
But that's the whole thing. Subban hasn't been suspended since 2016.
I know, but the way you say it is like, of course they go after Brad Marchand. I'm like, dude hasn't been suspended in 6-7 years. Like, they're not exactly out for blood for this guy.
He does not like. I know people are going to go against this, and they can say all they want. But he does get a lot of attention paid when this stuff happens.
Because he doesn't.
No, he does not.
Yes, he does.
He punched people in the back of the head during series.
He did it once.
And got away. Did he get away with it?
I've seen more people.
Did he get away with it? Yes or no?
Yeah,
other players would not have gotten away with that, and he did.
He also got away with licking people too.
That's not in the rule book.
You cannot deny that he goes beyond the rules of the game, makes dirty plays. I'm not saying he's doing injury things, but he does dirty things to stir up the other team and gets away with it. Whereas other players would not.
All the time.
You cannot say he deserves to have it back for the way he plays the game. Maybe not this year, but the way he's played in the past, he deserves a target on.
The fact that he hasn't been suspended in 6-7 years is it says everything we've been talking about with the NHL.
He deserves that target.
He plays the clean because
he does not play clean.
No, he's been playing a cleaner game.
Cleaner, yes,
not
but
clean.
Like you said, I forget which play it was. He looked around for the refs before doing what he did. I forget what it was that he did.
It was against Columbus in the second round of the playoffs. I think 2018 or 2017.
He literally looked around for the refs first and then hit the guy.
But then you can easily turn around and go look at Jordan Binnington. This guy has been doing a lot worse, swinging sticks. But that's the whole thing. Like, he hasn't been suspended yet. He's done this multiple times. Marchand hasn't had any issues like that in the past 3 years.
And I'm sitting here saying Binnington should be suspended.
Yeah,
but that's the thing though.
Like
since Marchand has done, he's been caught a few times doing some stupid shit. Now the target still stays on his back. Binnington has done stupid shit several times. Where's the target? Where's the target on Subban's back? He's an all-star. He's got a big name, and he's done the same shit over and over again.
Hey, I agree with you on that stuff.
You can't be going around and saying that like Marchand deserves this and all this kind of stuff, but not look at the rest of the league and realize he's changed his game, but not a lot of people haven't.
I said all three deserve to be looked at.
And Marchand does deserve. He's definitely got the biggest spotlight out of the three of them.
Yeah.
After the torn ACL, I would say Subban is. The guy has now flew-footed 3 people, caused 2 injuries, one being a torn.
And he should be suspended. But again, this is the NHL being the NHL and just not giving 2 shits. And hopefully, it's gone down to giving 1 shit. We can only hope. We can only hope that they become semi-competent before they lose it all in the playoffs, and it's just all at war again.
Yeah, and if they don't stop it, it's going to get out of hand.
I think this year there's going to be a massive injury, the way it's been going.
Sammy Blais, torn ACL.
No, I think there's going to be more. I think one of these days, someone's going to do a Binnington swing the stick, and the stick's going to hit them in the face. One of these days, the slew foot's going to cause a career-ending injury instead of just a torn ACL, which I know torn ACL is bad.
Torn ACL could be,
it could be like maybe his torn ACL is even worse than I thought. But you know what I mean? Like instead of a several-month recovery, it's no, you can't play hockey again. Well, what happens if another person breaks their back from a cross check to the back or a punch to the back of the head? If they're not going to do anything about this stuff and they're just going to give slaps on the wrist for these full-on assaults, something's going to happen this year, and it's not going to be good.
No, it's not, and I think we can end it on that. Something needs to happen. Like something needs to change culturally.
And it's
right? not just one thing, not just refs, not just announcers, not just analysts. Culturally, something needs to change before it gets too out of hand.
And
I think overall it needs to start in minor hockey to begin with.
And it might, right? But it's the hockey culture.
The problem is it's not going to happen until it gets out of hand. That's when it's going to change.
I'm hoping it does.
Based on how the NHL works, and I think you guys can agree with me, no massive change will happen until something terrible happens.
It's usually what happens.
Yeah, and I'm scared to see.
That's any league.
Pardon?
Yeah.
That's any league, unfortunately.
I know, but
it's not even league. It's anything.
It's anything.
Yeah. But nothing changes until something big.
Yeah, but the problem is there's been some pretty big stuff happening, and they just don't care. So it's not just gonna be big. It's gonna be horrible, and someone's gonna break their back or something crazy, and then they're gonna be like, oh, I guess we'll do something about it. And I'm scared to see what happens this year. It's bad. It's actually considering they started the year saying that we're going to be cracking down on cross-checking stuff. They sure have not been cracking down on cross-checking.
There's actually more cross-checking penalties called so far this year than the same amount of time as last year.
Well,
so they have cracked down on it a bit, but it's the severity of it that's where they have to correct themselves on.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Hey guys,
that's all I've got.
That's one of our listeners has told us actually the other day, he's going to be quite angry with us that we've been going longer and longer as we've been getting better flow between the three of us. So this is our longest episode yet, so I'm sure he's going to be quite unhappy with us.
Tell him to cram it.
Yep.
But yeah, I think that's all for us, guys, unless you have anything else to bring up.
No, I'm good.
That's all I've got.
All right, guys. So we will talk to you. Everyone good for recording next Wednesday?
James
I'll be there.
All right.
Oh, wait, no, it's this Wednesday. You're not. Yeah, I'm good.
Yeah. So, okay. So next Wednesday we'll be recording again. Next episode will be up Thursday. This one's up Wednesday, so you got to wait a week and a day, unfortunately. But this one's early, so it kind of evens out. We'll be talking about the next 4 games of the Leafs, and I'm really hoping for 4-0, but we'll see.
Nah, 3-1.
3-1. It's probably going to be 3-1, but I wouldn't be opposed to 4-0.
It's going to be 2-2.
All right, guys.
All right, guys. Have a good night. Like, comment, subscribe, all that stuff, and thank you for listening on Spotify. I've noticed people listening on Spotify. Anyway, good night.
See ya.